guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I just want to first wish you a happy new year. I hope that you had a great time with your family and your close ones. I know it's been a bit challenging with COVID all through 2020, and that's actually what brought me to create my own channel. So I'm really thankful to have you as a part of our journey in 2020, and I'm even more thankful if you're still a part of our journey in 2021. So we took a little bit of a break for the holidays, and as well as we unfortunately, my boyfriend and I lost a close family member during the end of 2020, and then therefore that's where I had to take a little moment out of making videos for you guys. But I'm happy to report that we are going to be back into full force for 2021, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. So in this video I will be showcasing my matte harness collection. So you will have the saddle pad as well as the blanket as well, you'll see in the second part of the video. So here I'm just actually, it looks like I'm just playing with my horse, but I'm actually just teaching her to stay and stand still. We had actually a few issues that we've been having with her not stopping at all. So what would happen is I would get on her and then she would stay still for half a second so I can safely get on her, and then she would just start walking. And then it would take me a good moment in order to have her to just stand for me in order to collect my reins properly in my hands. So here you'll see in this session, that's one of my main focus, is just to get her to just stand still and basically just not do anything. And that's definitely the hardest part for her. She is the type of horse that really likes to work. She takes her work into to heart, and she really she always pushes to go forward. That's one of her things. So in this instance, I'm just teaching her patience. So you'll see I'll try it multiple times over the course of this video. It is definitely one of her main issues that I had at the time. So just to keep you updated, this video was filmed in November of 2020, and right now we are now in January of 2021, and I can tell you Hazel is definitely like light years ahead from that video. So it's actually good for me to go back and comment this for you. She's changed so much and so quickly. That's why I'm also documenting this journey. It's just to see the progress as to having a green off the track horse and then making it into a collected dressage horse. So it is quite a journey. It's a lot of work, rewarding work though, but I'm really excited to share this with you guys. So now that the brakes have been tested and that she's been warmed up, it's time to pick up the trot. And as you can see here, that's her main trot. So it's not her working trot, it's just her main regular trot. It's definitely light years from when we actually started. The trot is definitely like more balanced and way more smooth for me to be able to actually do a sitting trot on her. And you'll see that I'm actually working on that as well in this video. This is one of my weaknesses because I have to make sure I am able to basically use my own core in order to stay seated on the saddle, and I'm having a bit of issue. As you can see here, it's not that bad. It's maybe the third week that I'm actually working on this sitting trot. Just so you guys know, I was actually very sore after the filming of this video. I was actually sore for about 2 to 3 days. especially in my lower back end and in my core, so my abs as well were hurting. But it is a necessary step because I do have to learn how to do a proper sitting trot. And for those of you that have been following us for a little bit, you know that we've been working on the trot quite a while, worked on the walk a little bit, but our main thing is now to get her to pick up the canter on the proper lead. So a lot of canering work will be done also in this session, so stay tuned for that. It's definitely more exciting that we can actually bring a new speed to the actual video, so I'm really actually proud of the work that we've done. And I can't wait for you guys to see the results. One of the few things that I like to do with her at the beginning is to try to do some bending exercises, so lead changes, center line as well for the straightness. So just some little things that I can get her to just pay attention to what I'm asking her, because it is something that's a little bit different than just going around in circles. So yeah, center line exercises for straightness as well as bending, just to see how much of a bend we can get. So here we're going for our first canter, and as you can see, the transition is actually really smooth. And she did pick up the canter on the proper lead, so as you can tell, it's been her third week working on her canter, and more extensively, that's actually her first time. So before, she would just allow me to do canter for maybe one circle, and as you can see here, we're going around and around, and she's actually doing great. One of the issues that I was having with her canter is actually that she wouldn't bend or move away from my leg, and so the circle was actually cut or choppy a little bit. So as you can see here, we're getting actually a good circle where I can actually push her on the outside and get her to stay with me a little longer. So here we just broke the canter, but once again, it's just a matter of just collecting her and keeping her nice and easy and quiet for me, and then we can try it again. So here I just noticed that my reins got a little tangled, so I just took that opportunity to also get her to give her a good backup. She did great on the canter, and she rushed a little bit into her trot, so had a little bit of a harder time to get her to stay calm, quiet, and collected. She usually gives me more of a collection right away, and that's why I get her to just give her a couple of backup steps, and that helps her to get her mind collected a little bit more and follow my lead a little bit easier. So it's just kind of a reset button, and it really helps to kind of get the horse to focus on what you're asking them to do. So when she is collected, it's time to try again and get her to get in the canter. And once again, that's a great and smooth transition. She is on the proper lead once again, which is really great. And as I'm actually working her, it's actually quite bumpy. It's not the smoothest canter I've ever seen. So it's really hard for me to sit deep in the saddle. But the more actually we practice, the better it is for both of us. She is getting smoother and smoother at it, and I am able to sit a little deeper in every single time. So as you can see, the result here is not so bad. I'm not bouncing off my saddle that much, but I can tell you that it's quite bumpy. So once again, once we're done with the canter here, we're gonna just ask her to collect herself a little bit in the trot. and try again. So one of the things that I had an issue with, and what my coach actually asked me to do, is to not anticipate the canter that much and just try to just go with the flow and go into it. So when you decide you're gonna canter, you just ask the horse to just canter. I was taking a lot of like steps before, precaution, which was making me, like, I guess, overthink it a little bit too much. And she just asked me to just relax, go with the flow, and then when you're ready to ask, you ask, and then the horse should pick up the canter, and then there's, you know, really not too much to it. That's just basically it. So I had to work a little bit more on being sharp and being precise, and know exactly what I want and when I want it, and then it really helps to kind of just make it more natural and more easy and less anticipation from both of us. So because we don't use the back of the arena that much, that's usually, we use the front of the arena a little bit more. I feel like Hazel is usually a little bit more spooky on that end of the arena. So I decided to just do the same thing I've actually done in the front, just do it in the back. So I'm going to try to pick up the canter in the back a couple times. You'll see, just to make it like more natural, easy for both of us. So she just knows that, you know, it's totally fine to have to do whatever I ask in that end of the arena as well. So as you can see here, it was also a very smooth transition, and then I almost lost her there, but I was able to manage and collect her again into her canter, which is actually looking pretty nice, really natural. We're not yet actually collecting it fully. We're just actually doing the first step, which is getting good rhythm and also making sure that she is picking up the canter when she's asked to do so. So that's just a very few basic steps of the canter. So once again here, my reins got tangled and I asked her to just stop, and as you can see, she is not stopping. So that's me just kind of not really fighting with her, but just asking her to just stay quiet for me for 2 minutes while I just get those reins properly. So it took us a little bit. As you can see, she was going back and forward, back and forward, back and forward, and that's something that she does very often when I asked her to just stop. It just seemed to be like something that does not work in her brain. She does not want to stop. She always wants to go forward, and so there she just thought that she had to go laterally instead, which is definitely nothing that I've asked for. So what I'm going to do here is just get away from the spot and just try it again. So as you can see here, she just stopped. So I'm just rewarding her for just stopping with me, because that's literally the only thing that I've asked her the whole time, is just to stop and do nothing at all. So I will ask her once again to canter on this end of the arena and on that lead as well, just to see if we can get a sharper, basically a sharper transition. As you can see here, you have a good bend and a good transition, and then she just broke a little bit. So I'm gonna back her up to kind of reset her brain here and stay with me mentally. And as you can see, she is definitely a little bit easier to go around. I also felt that her transition was a little rushed, and that's why I also pressed the reset button, which is just backing her up a couple steps and then starting again. So So if you look at this one, the transition was so smooth, it was very noticeable, which is actually great. That's what we want. And then once again, I'm working on getting her off my leg, my inside leg. So I'm trying to ask her to push herself all the way to the board on the side. And as you can see, I'm pretty successful at it. She's really going all the way around exactly the way I'm asking her to do so. So she's definitely mentally and physically with me, which is actually really great. It was a great gander. Really happy with that one here. So once I notice that it's good enough, I usually try to end it on a good note and just move on with something else, just for a little bit, for a little change. And since we've been cantering quite a little bit, I'm giving her a little bit of a break as well. So it is now time for a lead change. So we're going across the arena in a straight line and just changing our lead so we can work on the opposite side. For those of you who have been with us for a little bit, Hazel is an off-the-track thoroughbred, and as most thoroughbreds, everything is a little bit harder when you are trying to go on that lead, which is on the right lead. It's always a little bit harder for them. So that's why I have to be really sharp with my transition, and especially in the canter. We've been having so much trouble trying to get her to pick up the right lead. That means having the right leg forward when I'm asking her to do the canter. First step here is to have a nice collected trot and then ask for the canter whenever we're ready. So I'm just getting her mentally collected, ready, right with me, and then as soon as I find that she is smooth in my hands and in my legs, then it's time for me to ask her for the first canter. And as you can see here, it's been a little stumbled, but we got the proper lead at least, which is quite a good thing for this, like I said, this side of her brain, which is always the hardest for us. As you can see here, she just broke, but her first canter was actually really good. So here she is, not really being that obedient of my leg, so I'm just doing a couple of shorter circle in order to push her off my leg and get her to pay attention to my inside leg a little bit more. So as soon as I find that the circles are getting good, I'm just gonna go back to our bigger or larger circle, and then I can try to ask her for the canter again. So here we go again, here in another canter, and she did pretty good. She picked up the right lead. Once again, having a little bit of issues to get her off my leg. That's something I have a lot of issues with, especially on this side. It's just to really get her to push herself, her bum outwards, so as close as possible to the wall. So here it was a good transition, a little bit rushed in, but we got the proper lead, which is gold for us at this point. It is something that we've been working on really hard, because she usually picks up the wrong one, especially when we go in that direction. So since it was rushed, as I said, I'm just backing her up, resetting their brain, and then trying again. So now that is exactly what I was looking for. So beautiful. That canter on that side is actually magnificent. It's so much progress in a little bit of time. Like, she is putting her heart out. She's doing really, really great. And since she did pretty great, I'm just changing to another exercise. The reason why I'm doing that is just to remove the pressure. It's great to give pressure, but you also have to release, especially when they're doing something good. So it's just great to just do something else. As well as when you're doing a lot of cantering, of course, we're both getting tired at this point. But yes, so I'm just trying to get her to do a canter at that end of the arena. As I said before, that's the end where she is not as used as to be ridden in, so she's a little bit more spooky. She just thinks there's mysterious things in the corners, so that's why I always like to do some exercise in the back of the arena as well. Time for a nice, just quiet, relaxed walk here for both of us to catch our breath. It's been really interesting and really great to get her to figure out what the proper lead would be, and now she's a bit more independent. Now, I mean, like today, which is January 5th, 2021, she's a little bit more independent. She doesn't rely on my aids as much as she did back then. But it was a great session overall. Honestly, it really propelled us forward when it comes to the canter, especially where she is more accurate on the proper lead, as well as like she's more with the rider. She's a little smoother on her back as well, so she has a little bit more reception for you when you're cantering. She's a little bit more in tune with the rider, which I don't know why this whole session did marvel for us. And it was just basically the aim of it was just to get her to focus a little bit more on me, getting more into focusing on what I'm asking her with my aid, especially my legs, which was a lot of inside leg movement, and she's been doing really amazing ever since. So I can't wait to show you guys our progress here in January 2021, so you guys can see the actual difference. Now that she's been doing great on the canter, it's time to just change for something a little bit different. So we're doing leg yield on the quarter line, or just half of the arena. She is usually getting so flustered with me when I'm asking her to do some of these leg yield. She is not a fan of doing it for a long period of time. So that's why I'm doing just quarter at a time, half at a time, another full arena, like from one point to the other. We're working on this slowly. Like she is definitely, that's not her favorite, and I have no idea why. We've been working on this like since probably the first month that I've owned her. Like we've done leg yielding on the ground for so long. I just don't know why she doesn't like it anymore. But you'll see she has quite a temper every time I'm asking her to just leg yield. So to change things up, I'm just doing a center line and then just an exalt salute. So I'm just going to the center line at X and just stopping her there. We're not doing a full salute yet. It's just to get her to just stop, basically. As I was telling you earlier, she just does not want to stop. She just always wants to go and work. So it's great to have a horse that loves to work, but it's also great if she can just do her pause at the X. So we're just working that now. So after every session, would it be a training session with my coach, or when I'm doing it by myself, what I call a practice session, I always do exalt salute at the end, because that's when she's a little bit more tired and also a little bit more compliant to what I'm asking her, and she's more prone to stop, which kind of reinforced the whole thing. But now, like as I would say, like this was in November, so we're now in January, about 2 months after. She's actually doing really good. So that was one of the tries that I had here at trying to get her to leg yield on one side, and as you can see, she was not happy with it. Kept on turning around. So it's great to just change it up. Like I do a few XL salutes, but it's also great to just do something different. And here is Hazel having a full out meltdown when I'm asking her to just do some leg yield. I know that she's getting a little bit tired at this point, but I still want her to apply herself a little bit. And as you can see, she is not having it today, which is like most days. Like I said, you know, we all like something and then don't like something else. Well, in her case, she just really does not like the leg yields. So, you know, I don't force her more than that. Like, yes, I will try a couple times. I know that she's been doing really great this whole entire session, and so I don't want to push it too much. So I'm just gonna do a few more exercises and then just call it a day. So as you guys can see, she's doing good at times and not so good at other times. I also wanted to add the fact that we have changed our spurs. So my spurs are now 22 millimeters long instead of 10 millimeters long, so they're twice as long. And the reason for that is that she's getting way more, she's accepting the leg a little bit more, and therefore that's why I can transition to a longer spur. But it's also for more accuracy and precision. So this whole time as well, in this whole session, I was also trying to gauge how much force or how much I needed to actually push with my spur and just figure out exactly the settings. And that's also why sometimes she just overreacts to things, but she did really, really good. I'm not really abusive with my leg whatsoever. I'm really good at not, you know, putting the spur on when I don't need to. But it definitely helped me in this whole session here in getting her to get off of my leg, especially at the canter. That seemed to be the issue that I was having most of the time, is having her move off of my leg at the canter. It's like she became totally dull. So I'm really, really happy for this spur. It really helped me out greatly. So right now we're at the point that she just doesn't even need spur anymore. She's really sensitive and really in tune to what I'm asking her and ready to do it for me. So it's a really great time. Really, really happy. So we've started this whole journey in September 2020. So it's crazy what happened in a few months already. Considering that she was off most of November due to an abscess in her hoof. So really, really happy with what actually happened for us in 2020. I hope that you guys like this portion of the video and that you've learned something new, how to get your horse to canter perhaps, or how to get a horse off your leg, or leg yield. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed that portion of the video, and I'll see you soon in the barn so you guys can see our care. Welcome back. So in this portion of the video, I'll just show you my updated care routine. So I always start with a nice Northern Equestrian cookie for Hazel, because she was, let's face it, she was awesome in that session here. So she gets one of her favorite treats, which was one of her cookie from the summer collection, and it was a snow cone well, it was a heart, and then it had like a kind of a snow cone look to it. She really loved that one. There's extra topping on that one, which makes it really crunchy, and she really loved that treat. So now moving on to our Equifuse product here. So I actually diluted some Rehydrants moisturizer from Equifuse Canada into a spray bottle, and I added some water to it. And what I do with it is I basically just apply it right in the area where my saddle was, all those sweaty little spots. And what happened is the product really helps to moisturize the skin as well as remove those awful like sweat marks, if you will. So that's what I use it for. It really works great in keeping the skin moisturized, especially in the winter. Like this is actually what the bottle of the product looks like, the Rehydrants from Equifuse. I'm really like a maniac when it comes to like skincare for my horse. I really care for her skin and the quality of her skin, and make sure that it's like nice, soft, and it's moisturized properly, especially in the winter. I had so many incidents where Hazel's skin was really dry and chappy, and it just has dandruff all over it. It looks itchy and uncomfortable, and so therefore that's why I'm really a stickler when it comes to making sure that she is comfortable and that she has the level of moisture that's needed, especially for the winter. So you guys know in Canada it's really cold, therefore they wear like a heavy blanket all winter long. So inside and outside, and all these layers of like blanketing doesn't help really with the moisturizing of the skin, or actually even the airflow in there, and so their skin gets really dry. So that's a great way to keep the skin moisturized all winter, especially for those sweat marks, because as we know, when the horses sweat, they actually release a lot of sodium or salt, and that can irritate the skin even further when you don't brush it out, or when you don't clear it out or clean it up, if ever. So I'm just using here my stiffest brush to just give it a deeper kind of massage into it. She does not have a lot of fur all year long, so I'm not like, I do use some curry combs, but I'm not using any like very long prongs type of curry comb, just because she, like I said, she's basically bare skin. Like, she doesn't have a lot of fur, and that's why just this brush here does the trick. If ever you have a horse with a heavy coat, I would suggest just maybe taking a curry comb and just going all the way deep to make sure the product reaches the skin. And then I'm just putting my Matte Harnecke back on track blanket over it to just kind of let it dry. And then we're just gonna see here after about 10 minutes, I would say. So as you notice, the first part is almost dry. Some of the deeper sweat marks are still there, but as you can see, it's very shiny and it's so soft, you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you've learned something new. If it is the case, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment in the section down below. I'll see you guys very soon.